Black women, we can never get comfortable as it relates to being employed, working in the workforce, in our careers. I am one of over 300,000 Black women that have been laid off. I was laid off June 30th. And so I have been unemployed all of July, all of August, and we're now going into month three of September. Now, I did receive a severance package for the month of July, so that helped me for July. And then I was recently approved for unemployment. And people are asking, how I'm sustaining. And I had a pretty good savings. I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it was, I had some money put up. And then I also took a portion of my 401k that I had that has allowed me to, be able to pay my bills and sustain my life. Now, I will say this: being off these 2 months going into 3 months is something that I did not know I needed. Like, it has been a very good experience being off and just having some time to myself. I don't think in my adult life I've had this amount of time off. Like, I have been working all the time since I became an adult, and specifically when I became a mother almost 12, almost 13 years ago. I really have been like going. So it has been amazing to have this time off. I've had the opportunity to really pause and take a breath, which so many Black women do not get the opportunity to do it. If you are ever presented with the opportunity to be off of work for an amount of time, more than 30 days, it is definitely needed for your mental health and just for you to kind of focus on you and slow down, because it has been an amazing experience as it relates to that. I've been able to kind of focus on, my mental health and my health, like some things that I noticed that I kind of, put on the back burner and said, I'll get to it. I've been able to focus on that and go to the doctor and get the proper diagnosis and the proper medication that I need for the diagnosis, which we'll talk about in another video. But I've been able to do that because I've slowed down and I've had the time to do it. Whereas before I was, I'll get to it. I have been really intentional about my workouts. Now, I did work out while I was working. So I've always been a woman that works out, but I've been really intentional. And I am down 12 pounds from that. So that has been amazing. I've been able to read quite a few books in this process and just, really kind of like dilly dally, like really mosey. Like, I've, gotten back into some hobbies. I've gone to like, book sales and, just a lot of just, moving slow, moving intentional, and just giving my nervous system like a good reset. And it has been amazing. Now, I'm not going to say that this layoff process has not been remiss or void of a little anxiety, a little like fear, like a little, just wondering what next, and, just the fear of the unknown. And I have been applying. I have interviewed with 10 of those jobs, or started the interview process, and it has been quite annoying. I know one job I did like 4 interviews and a presentation and did references and all that just for them to come back and be like, no, we went with somebody else, which was so aggravating. But I decided then, though, like, I'm not doing more than 2 or 3 interviews for a job. Like, I'm just not. Like, I'm not. And so I'm right now, I think I have about 4 jobs like down the pipeline that I'm interviewing for and awaiting. And these jobs are just, they're a trip. They're moving slow. They're kind of doing what they want to do, dragging their feet. But, I'm trying to remain optimistic, but I am really kind of getting annoyed with the whole interview process and presentations and assessments, because everybody wants something different. And I'm kind of determined not like, I'm not gonna say I'm determined not to, but I don't want to go back in the classroom like full time just because I've been working from home. So I want to remain remote, or at least, a hybrid model, and I don't want to be forced to have to go into a job every single day, 5 days a week. I'm just not there anymore. Like, at the age that I am and the experience that I have, and me being in the workforce all these years, I just have no desire to go into a job every single day, 5 days a week, 8 hours or more a day to make money. I just feel like there's more than one way to make money. Which I am. Like, I monetize on TikTok, and I decided to really, really, really take my content creation serious, hence this YouTube channel that I'm really trying to focus on. So if you're a Black woman out there who is a part of this layoff, and you don't know what's next, I'll definitely say try to remain optimistic, try to remain positive, and use this time to really pour into you and really figure out what it is that you want.